Hello, and welcome to Tartan Touchdown episodes, our weekly look back at all the biggest stories from the weekend's NFL action. Week 7 had a bit of everything. It had historic comebacks, veteran quarterbacks, masterclass, a couple of statement wins, and more than a few teams that might be getting found out. I'm Sarah, and I'm hosting tonight's show, and with me for the first ever time on episodes, because we've never done an episode together, is Brian. I can't believe the calendars have finally matched, and we are up, so it should be a fun one.
I think it's planned. I think like Dan and Gav just have very severe concerns that our runtime is going to be significantly damaged if we're allowed in a kind of podcast studio unattended.
Yeah,
I think that's
know.
probably the reality of it.
Yeah, so they were just like, "Oh, we'll just put them together for this week because there's loads to talk about." There's one big topic I suppose to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see what magic or chaos we can create in this week's episode for sure. But so I think we begin with chaos, and we'll talk about what is currently the story of the week and might be the story for the foreseeable time, and the 33-point avalanche that was the Broncos against the Giants. I mean, it's rare. It's historic.
Rare. The only time it's happened that constitutes as you know what? Rare. We'll go for rare.
I'll just put what rare means. I'll just get the dictionary out and just put the quote of what rare and historic means together. Yeah, so it's 33 points in quarter 4. And it's not just a comeback. It was a meltdown on one side and an absolute explosion on the other. So, Brian, I want to just get your take on how this even happens in real time.
Right. So there's two big sides of this for me. Right. One, I finally feel vindicated. I've been talking since the preseason about how the Broncos offense was going to be great and I finally got 15 minutes worth of it. I had 15 minutes of the Broncos offense that I've been saying would appear all year. Watch, the next time they're out, they're going to be anemic again. No, so we've seen Bo Nix in the Broncos offense actually wake up, actually run some game, in time, getting passes out, moving the ball effectively, and actually doing the damage in the red zone where it really mattered against a strong Giants defense. And we were talking about this before we came on air. It's fine to do this if you are playing the Dolphins, and anyone, see the Browns, can put up points on the Dolphins. This is the Giants. The Giants have a good defensive unit. And even, it's funny because we're looking at this and the other side of it. You're looking and saying, oh, it's a huge fourth quarter collapse from the Giants. And oh my God, they get 2 touchdowns. They put up 2 touchdowns in the fourth. And this is a huge collapse. If you're looking at any other week and you are saying, right, to be fair, they missed the PAT, which obviously is exceptionally significant. You look at this, you say you can put 2 touchdowns up, you go, oh, okay, that's a decent return for any given quarter of football. The end of the day, the big story that really came out of this for me was decision making from New York. Now, is this a case of we are seeing the hazard of the fun time story that we've been loving with the Giants? We have Jackson Dart, the rookie hero quarterback, who can do it all, and he's got moxie and he's got all the swagger. We've got Cam Scatterbo, who headbutts anything that's within range, and yeah, look, that's going to do him damage at some point. But then we see their final drive of the game when they get, and I'm sorry, Giants fans, the Zebras did you a solid. The penalty, it not for me.
I mean, I can't talk about penalties this week because I'll just get really angry.
You really.
I'm not allowed to talk.
More about that later, folks, because I'm not letting her off the hook. They get the penalty, but you get the DPI. You are down at the 1, 7 seconds left on the clock. It's a catch-22 because the sensible part of you says, scoot about for 2 plays, let's say. Take 2, scoot about, drain a bit of time out of that, and then try and punch it in at the end. And then you don't give the ball back, and rest we know is history.
Please see the Eagles for reference.
Yeah. But then I suppose to be fair for the Giants out there, if they did the scoot about for 2 plays and then the Broncos got the stop, we'd be sat here saying, oh my God, you idiots, how could you? You just punch that in and you do your thing. It's such a bitter one for the Giants as well. It's still like, hey, Giants still put up 32 points on a really good defense in Denver.
Yep.
Yeah. Denver. They were away. But yeah, the manner of the loss is the bit that does it. It's not the fact you lost to the Broncos. Because I'm going to, most sane New York fans out there would probably have said, oh, we lose a tight game at Denver. Okay, this is fine. Yeah. We look at where we're at. This is an acceptable result. The heart wrench of 33 points in 15 minutes. It's, and you seem...
It's even like, I mean, I didn't watch it in real time essentially because I went, this is like, kind of all the games were coming to a bit of a wind down in the late.
Done.
I was like, oh, well, this must be over. So surely. So I go up and I'm like watching about the highlights and I was like, wait, when does this happen? Because it's still 5 minutes to go and it's still, there's nothing on the board for Denver. And I'm like, when does this happen? And then it just like slowly like builds up and like, it was when you were talking about how like the Broncos like learned like how their offense works all of a sudden it all just clicked in. Like Cole was running, he wasn't looking like he was flustered. He was like, okay, I'm just gonna continue doing my thing. I'm just gonna continue driving the ball down. Like I have the and I don't really like the win probability always kind of throws me off a little bit because I'm like, realistically anything can happen, right? But we go from 2.3 to 96.8 in the span of 5 minutes. Which is what it's like one of the largest single quarter flips this season. It must be the largest, surely.
It must be. And I'm going to say it's probably not just the largest this season. This is going to be one of the largest ones that we've seen in recent years. And I do love that graph.
Yeah, I do love the graph. I think the only one that might beat it is the Jags and the Chargers playoff game.
Yeah, possibly.
That might be the only one that beat it.
I don't know. It's one of these ones. What I really hope for this game is that I hope it doesn't derail the Giants season. I hope it doesn't, because we were getting that fun time feeling. And again, I talked about it with Gavin last week's episode. The Giants ain't winning no Super Bowl this year, but they've been enjoyable to watch. They've been in games. The fans have had really something to get behind. And as I say, Jackson Dart's been in Cam Scap on the rest. They've been balling out and they've been great fun to watch. They've had that kind of full love of the game thing. I hope that this nature of it, I hope it doesn't kind of knock the wind out of them a bit. I hope they keep rolling. And when we get to see New York continuing to do what they have been so far this year.
I know. Well, obviously I remember we sat, I think it was Dan and Gavin's episode when they were talking about before how they were going to need to bench Russell Wilson, they were going to put Jackson Dart in. And Gavin was like, no, we can't do that yet. It's too much of a serious game. And obviously then we put him in and look what he's managed to do. And I really hope he just kind of goes, okay, well that was a tough loss. That's okay. That happens. We still put up. We still did really well. We still put all these points up. So we are cooking. We just need to keep going. And like they're in a hard division. Like it's not like they.
This year it is a really hard division. And there's been years when it's been, you've had the Bills and that's it. But it's not. It is a hard division this year. And I've just totally lost my train of thought. It's a hard division this year, and it's something that they're going to need to try and do better. I'm talking about as if they're playing in the AFC with the Bills chat. Obviously not. Years where we've had Washington have been a non-event. We've had years where the Cowboys, sorry Dan, the Cowboys have been a non-event, and it's just been the Eagles. This year, they're all looking good. And yeah, the Giants, they might not be the team that is going to go and win it all. They've been a team that's been in about it. They've been a team you've had to respect in games, and you hope that continues. I really hope as well that this actually gives Denver something to kick on from in terms of that offense, because as I've said before, and we won't labour the point of where Brian got things wrong, it was something that last year, the tail end of the season, the offense was absolutely singing, and this year so far it has not been, other than the last 15 minutes of play that we've watched. So we really hope that, yes, this is how you play the game, and now keep doing that more.
And I mean, and the Broncos are also technically in a winnable division because...
Well, they're leading it right now.
Well, yep, because, I mean, obviously, we'll come talk to them later. We'll talk about the Chiefs in a bit, but they're now playing catch-up almost, and I don't know what the Chargers are doing, but which always...
No one knows what the Chargers are doing.
But yeah, so the Broncos can just continue and hopefully prediction will come right, you know?
Well, we'll see. At the end of the day, they're in that position where we've always said it, and it's an old line these days, defense wins championships, all the rest of it. They have the defense. We just need to see Bo Nix play the way that we know he can play, because we've seen it from him, not just on Sunday. We've seen it from him last season where he put a string of performances together, and that is what we need to see more.
For sure. Well, I guess from one QB falling out towards the end to a somewhat of the greatest duel that nobody thought between two legends. Thursday night vintage football, Flacco versus Rodgers, which was two quarterbacks in their 40s going blow for blow in prime time. Like, I generally felt I was in like a time warp. I was like, what happened? And I mean, from somebody who also plays in that division and who maybe isn't one of these people's biggest fans, Bri, would you like to walk through how Joe Flacco did it?
Well, do you know, it's like that thingy. It's like that film Castaway. What year is this? Do you know what? I'm actually deciding now that the trade for Cincy was just Andrew Berry purposefully trolling Pittsburgh. Like, we know our season's done. We are just going to go out of the way to screw you over. Do you know, I really imagine it was that. Imagine that Andrew Berry's, I'm just going to take your mic.
Right,
Yeah,
all right,
no,
fair enough.
just purely annoy him. No, it's a wee bit like what we had last week. At the end of the day, Flacco played clean. We know that Flacco's a gunslinger, and that is it. He is a gunslinger who can do these things. He's got two top receivers, and we really saw him use them to incredible effect. We really saw him use it with incredible effect. You've got Jamar Chase sitting in 161 yards, and as if that's no enough, you've got T. Higgins sitting behind him in 96 yards. Both with scores to their name each as well. And you've got your tertiary receivers, Yoshi Vass, Noah Fant. They're sat on the business end of 49 and 44 yards each. He is slinging it about, and he's not doing the things that have plagued him in the past where he's thrown interceptions with it. So, yeah, Joe Flacco looks absolutely brilliant at the minute. Yeah, enjoy it, Cincy fans. I grudge you every success that you have, but enjoy it while it's there. One of the interesting bits in this game for me, so Aaron Rodgers played a good game. He chucked a couple of interceptions up, but he did throw 4 touchdowns as well. This is yet another year, and I had to sit and look into this, and we chatted about it before we came on. Aaron Rodgers' career in Green Bay, he had a top 10 defense once. Of the whole time he was there, he had a top 10 defense once. And this is where we are seeing the Pittsburgh offense is fine. They have had a couple of really good showings. They've had a couple of fairly average showings. I know they're in the market to try and get another wide receiver in that room. Don't think anybody's massively surprised they're doing that. Most people would expect them to do it before the season started. Fine. The defense is absolutely awful. And it is bad. Like, it's bad when the 40-plus-year-old Joe Flacco is sticking points up on you. But they get 32 points run up on them by the Jets, lest we forget. Week 1, everybody was talking about how, oh my God, the Jets look like they could be really good this year. No. The Steelers defense is just absolutely guff. So yeah, you know what, Cincy fans, enjoy your time in the sun. It will turn Joe Flacco into leather, because we know how old skin copes with UV. But yeah, enjoy it. He's doing his gunslinger thing. It will come back to bite him. We are going to get at least a couple of games in Cincy where he doesn't throw 3 touchdowns and no picks. He throws 3 picks and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because that's just the nature of the beast with a gunslinger at quarterback, even a 40-year-old one. And yeah, Steelers fans, I've been saying it all year. I ain't going to change my story. You are going to go 500. You are going to make the wild card. You are going to get hosed. And you are going to get bounced out by a good team. Because when you play good teams, you lose.
Lose to good teams. That's it. And then, I guess, talking about a team that lost to a bad team, because as much as the Chicago Bears did manage to get the W this week. Does it come slightly gift wrapped when you finish +4 in a turnover margin? And, historically, if you can hit +3 or more, you win 90% of the time. And considering the Saints actually outgained the Bears in yards despite losing, I guess, does that bring the question of, are the Chicago Bears actually that good? Or has everybody else they played just not been that great? Brian.
This is great. It's fraud watch. Yeah, they're an absolute fraud of a 4-2 team. Same as the Steelers are a fraud of a team with a good record. Right, let's look at the Bears, their record, right? They beat the Cowboys when the Cowboys didn't know what a secondary was. They beat the Pete Carroll-led Raiders. What an outfit. They beat the Commanders. I will give you a win against the Commanders.
But that was close. That was close.
Yeah, that was close. 1 point in it. So but you need to give the respect what it's due. They win against the Washington's a win. And then they they absolutely destroyed the New Orleans Saints with Spencer Rattler, who actually did better than your saviour, Caleb Williams. Yeah, it's flattering to deceive. Honestly, again, the defense for the Bears has got a couple of great pieces on it. They do. And you've seen it with the turnovers that they generated. But let's not forget that those turnovers are coming from Spencer Rattler. This is not Patrick Mahomes that you are picking off, in dramatic style. It's really not. And even then, there was, Caleb chucked up an interception of his own. So I'm not, sorry, Chicago fans, I'm really not buying what you're selling. This is something where, yeah, you are 4-2. Enjoy that record. It ain't going to be enough to win your division anyway.
No.
And I'm really seeing the division games are going to be when we are going to get a proper measure of you, because you've already lost 2 of them.
So then what the likelihood is that you're going to just continue to potentially lose the rest. And I mean, obviously, divisional games are always a bit funny, right? Because you tend to find that, normally when you go to somebody else's house, you can then beat them because the momentum's there or whatever. But yeah, I think they're also just a bit of who have you really won against. And we didn't pre-discuss this isn't in our conclusions, but I will say, as somebody who's in the same division as the Colts, this is the first week I have watched them and gone, okay, now I see what we're talking about here. Because when you beat the Raiders 40-6, I don't really believe in you, I'm afraid. When you beat the Titans, I don't really believe in you. And when you get a close game between the Colts and you get a close, obviously, loss to the Rams, I still don't really believe in how good you are. But this is the first week that I have actually gone, okay, I can see a problem now. And I can see what everyone's talking about with the Colts, for sure.
The Colts are such an interesting outfit, because the big thing, we're sitting here and we're going, oh, what's fundamentally changed? They've acquired Daniel Jones. Wow. Everyone
was this guy.
I know. Oh my God. Signing of the year. It kind of is. They now have a passing attack that you need to respect. This is something that was discussed hugely in a group chat where all the best discussions happen. Why, Jonathan Taylor, how is he looking so much better this year? If you look at some of the stats, he's outperforming in some but not others based on his performances last year. Bigger thing though, teams do not just say, Jonathan Taylor is scary, stop Jonathan Taylor. You have to account for a passing game now. And funny enough, that then means that Jonathan Taylor gets to be scary and drop 3 touchdowns for the 3rd time in 1 year, and it's only week 7, which is just nuts. But is the addition of Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones showing us that maybe he's not washed. Maybe, that year we seen 2 years ago in New York where he actually played well, or 3 years ago.
3 years ago, I'm pretty sure. It's when the Jags were in the playoffs too, I'm pretty sure. They were also managed to make their way up.
He had that one good season. That one good season in New York where people believed. Maybe that wasn't a total fluke. Maybe Daniel Jones is actually a good quarterback who you can put a team around. And let's not kid on that he's in, like a 49ers scenario for a couple of years back when it was the Avengers and you just had incredible weapons everywhere.
And you could put anybody in and it was fine.
Any quarterback will succeed here. That's not who we're talking about here. This is the Colts. They don't have a string of wide receivers and tight ends that you go, oh my God, this is terrifying. but they've got a lot of people who are working really well together, which is so much more important.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by the continuation of the Colts season, just because it then starts to get pretty difficult for them, I think. Once they kind of go to Berlin, it all starts to tick over, because you're playing the Falcons somewhere, some in Berlin in a completely different country, and then you play the Chiefs, and then you play the Texans
Arrowhead.
at Arrowhead. Then you play your Texans, which is the first time you've played them, which is your divisional game. Then you play the Jags, which is the first time you've played the Jags. Then you play the Seahawks. Then you play the 49ers, and then you play your last two divisional games back to back.
Yeah.
So that's when, and I hate to do it, I hate to play we'll see what happens when you play this team, but it is one of those that if they can, obviously they may just well continue to completely steamroll. And listen, they've got the Titans again, so I'm not expecting them to lose that, because I'd watch this get clipped back now and watch the Titans put 40 points up against them or something wild, and I'll be like, oh dear Lord.
It could happen. I don't see it either.
Anything could happen.
We've seen enough wacky results this year. Do you know, and you mentioned it earlier, I think one of the things that might really help the Colts is just momentum. Winning becomes a habit, and they are already sitting 6-1. Realistically, by the time they go to Berlin, they are going to be sitting with at least 7 wins. I think they'll be sitting with 8, personally. I think they're going to be taking a win off both the Titans and Steelers. Yeah, and then, you're right. After that's when it really comes to the crunch. But if you're sitting on 8 wins already, you know what I mean? And it's that is the kind of thing that your locker room just believes. And that's the kind of stuff that, we always ask ourselves, how does Casey pull really late victories, not against Jacksonville, out of the hat so often? How do they keep doing that? Because it is that winner's mentality. It's, we are going to win. Why? Because of course we are.
We're going to win.
That's what we do. And is that what we're seeing emerge in Indy, where they're becoming a team that just goes, we're going to win by, because have you seen us this year? We are absolutely dynamite. It could be in Indy. Who knew?
Who knew? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that at the start of the season? Not me. Tell you that for free.
No.
I was putting them third in that. I was putting them third to win, the third ranking in the AFC South. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think I was probably fairly similar, actually. I think Heather probably had them third.
I think everybody was putting them down. I think there's a couple of pundits that had them up higher, but I mean, I never know if I trust these people.
What do they know?
And I guess the other potential fraudsters are the Green Bay Packers.
It's close every single game. And this is, I was seeing things with Green Bay where it's more a case of, are they doing the Eagles thing where it's just enough? Unless they're playing the Browns, which it's not enough, because they can't handle us on offense when we were led by Joe Flacco, hero of Cincinnati. No, but you look at the games that they've played. Yep, they beat the Lions. Incredible victory. You can't hide that for anybody. Commanders were more in that game than the score would let you believe. They lost to us, which is as damning an indictment as you can get. They then drew to the Cowboys, who at that point still had no secondary. It was a great game to watch that, to be fair. It's one of the best games to watch. What's everyone doing? Passing lots. Why? Why not?
Football!
Because no one's playing defense. And then, they beat the Bengals. Good for you. And then, they beat the Cards, but it was so tight. And let's not kid on that this is the Cardinals who are playing amazing. That was the Jacoby Brissett-led Cardinals who dropped 280 yards on your defense. And they had, the incredible weapon of Bam Knight at running back. Terrifying. They do have Trey McBride, who is terrifying. But it is something, but I don't know. There's something about Green Bay that they are currently sitting top of the division. Can't take that away from them. They still have that record. It's still there. I just don't know. I really think that we're going to see Detroit really overtake them. I think the Lions will absolutely take them in the division as we go throughout the year. I just don't see it sticking for Green Bay. And then, they're going to be in a decent boat because Chicago are not it. They are going to be found out as the year continues. And Minnesota are in a transition year. They're bedding in JJ McCarthy. You know what I mean? I don't think there's many sane Vikings fans out there. But the ones that are sane knew that this wasn't going to be a year to push for even really a playoff run. Because at the end of the day, yes, we know JJ McCarthy's not a rookie, but he is a rookie this year.
Yeah.
He's also been getting dinged up a lot, and their defense is taking a step back. But Green Bay, I don't know. There's just something there that it doesn't quite sit right. The play that you watch doesn't marry up to the record they have.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think they're another interesting one because I think the rest of their season is a bit on a roller coaster. So they come up against some who I would suggest people they should be able to beat, and then they come up against people that I think might be a bit more difficult. They're an interesting one to watch. This like middle kind of run for them, like all through November, is a bit interesting.
Well, you would think they'll pick up 2 wins. You would think their next 2 they should win.
They should win the next 2, exactly that. And then after
that, should beat Pittsburgh. Then it's just similar to what we were talking about a minute ago. It's that then you've got Eagles, Giants, Vikings, Lions, Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. All your divisionals, the majority of them. And your non-divisional opponents, the Eagles? Yeah, and by that point, by the time they get to the Ravens, do you know particularly by the time they get to the Ravens have had to deal without Lamar. The Ravens' record is the opposite of what we've been talking about. It's inexplicably bad. So if the Ravens want a postseason, which the Ravens want a postseason, they are going to be playing hard. Yes. Yep. They are going to be playing hard till week 18. You ain't going to be getting the classic, end of the season where they start rolling out the practice squad guys. Yeah, the Ravens are going to be in this to try and save what the remains of the season by that point. So yeah, no, totally with you. It could be that a team is really hard to judge properly. I just find they're hard to get a handle on.
Yeah. They're a difficult one to wrap your head around. But I guess a team that's maybe not so hollow success-wise is my pick, actually, for my biggest surprise of the season, which would be the New England Patriots, who actually might be pretty legit.
Are we seeing the original evil empire come back?
Well, I don't know what's happened, but it's like the spirit of Tom Brady has been floating around in Gillette, and all of a sudden has found its way into Drake May. Like, he's so calm. Like, he's so calm. He doesn't really seem all that flustered, and obviously, I'm pretty sure it was this week he went out for a little bit and then just literally was like, no, I'm fine, put me back in the game. And he was just like, I'm going to go back.
Yeah, because he took a sack and he went over and his head ricocheted.
Yep.
And yeah, he went and they put concussion protocol in and yep. But then he was straight back out and he played an incredible game. And it's the big stat. Everyone's talking about it, so absolutely we'll mention it here as well. 21 for 23. That takes the franchise record for completion percentage. It beats Tom Brady's. He just plays exceptionally well. And yet we've seen Stephon Diggs had a really good game, but for me, the big one, and yes, it's only 2 receptions, and he does tend not to get many receptions a game, but every reception he gets tends to be gold. Kayshon Boutte.
Who would have thought that?
Who's seen this name coming this year? He's just, the relationship that he seems to be developing with Drake May is absolutely brilliant because you just have those plays and it is the big blow you over the top. I know he's there and it's that faith that Drake May has in his receiver because even his touchdown grab on Sunday was just brilliant. Yep. Huge ball over the top. Yes, now, but he was getting away from the defender, but it's still one of those ones. That's a big boy play. That is not the pass for somebody that's timid. And it's not a pass, it's not a play to draw up and to call for the coaching side if you don't have faith in your quarterback to make it and your wide receiver to bring it in. The Patriots actually look like they are legit and they are sitting pretty top of the AFC East. Will they be there at the season end?
Really knows, but that's okay. Maybe.
They could be.
They could be. Yeah. And it's just wild. I just can't believe when you look back into the 2024 draft, right? And you see all their names that are there, and there's little Drake May, who's got the lowest interception rate of the 2024 class. He's top 5 completion percentage among rookies and young quarterbacks. He's 5 for 2 as a starter. And you put him against your Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix.
Can you tell me with a straight face that you would, well, do you know, I will put them all in it. Can you tell us if you would take any of them over Drake May right now? And I will indulge the idea you would consider Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. The only one I would consider is Jaden Daniels. But I think Drake May in the current form of Tom Brady's
spirit
animal becoming into Drake
Tom Brady's
May.
Spirit rookie.
Literally, I would take Drake May over them all. And I can't believe that's what it is.
What I would really like to see, and what I would really like to understand, what is going on in New England with Henderson? Like, he is hated. The highly touted rookie coming in, he is the solution at running back, except he is not, and he is drifting further and further. I don't know if they've done it officially in their depth chart. I would need to go and look. But he's drifting. You look at the per game kind of touches. Mondre, right? Yeah, okay. Mondre actually had a really good game. 18 carries for 88 yards is brilliant. But you then have Terrell Jennings getting 5 carries ahead of Travion Henderson. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So again, you talk about big prospects that everybody was really high on getting into the year. And he has absolutely vanished. He has totally disappeared. The coaching team, everybody in New England seems to have no faith on him, or no faith in him, sorry. Yeah, it's crazy. It's good times in New England, because at the end of the day, even with the issues with Henderson, Andre's balling out. Drake May is incredible. Stephon Diggs actually looks like he remembers how to play football. Kayshon Boutte just appears every now and again with incredible touchdown grabs.
Incredible touchdowns every so often. So I mean, with a name like that, you'd be making statements anyway. So I guess at least he's doing it for the right reasons.
I would just like everybody to be very, very proud of me for not making any of the easy jokes with Kayshon's name. Made. I've done well. I've been a
Thank you, Brian. Your service has been appreciated. And I guess with the Patriots kind of making big statements with their team this year, I guess we cannot unfortunately ignore what is happening in Kansas City. So obviously they're finding their stride again with Mahomes looking sharp, and the defense are just absolutely suffocating anybody they now come against. So are they back to their old selves, or was that just the Raiders?
Yes, it was just the Raiders to a point. The Raiders suck really bad this year. They are down there as one of the worst teams in the league. Yeah, they did it to the Lions as well. Yeah, I think they're back, and I really hate it.
No one's listening. Listening. Everybody turn it off.
At the end of the day, they have the thing that we always say in football is the thing that you need. They have the elite quarterback. If you have the elite quarterback, you are in every single game. We seen it last year with the Bengals and Joe Burrow. They had a trash defense, and they still do, but they had the elite quarterback, so they were in every single game. And you don't get much more elite than Patrick Mahomes. You really don't. He can do incredible things with the ball. He makes plays happen when they have no right to happen. And yeah, they've now got a good receiver in. They've got Rashee Rice. Although I am enjoying how everyone's treating Rashee Rice's return as if it's some glorious return from like a really bad injury. Guys, he was suspended.
Guys, he did a really bad thing.
He was a bad boy.
Yeah.
You can be happy that you've got your player back, but let's pump our brakes a little bit on the comeback player of the year story we seem to be getting.
No.
But he is back now. Regardless of anything else, he is back now. He looked really good last night. The connection between him and Mahomes, it's early, but it seems to be there.
It seems to just come back in, right? It's not one of those things that he's come back and it's like a bit, he's dropping passes. I mean, obviously we know what happened towards the end of last year when it was a bit higgledy-piggledy. Yeah. But they are connecting back up again. It's like it's never gone away. So they're not having to do that weird kind of how does this work between the two of us again. It's just kind of gone right back into the rhythm for them for sure.
Yeah, and it's the thing, to be fair, we've been saying it for 2 years now, that what don't the Chiefs have? What did the Chiefs never, ever deal with? They never dealt with the loss of Tyreek Hill. I had a total mind blank there. They never addressed the loss of your premium receiver. They covered it up with Travis Kelce for a while. Travis Kelce
then that gets found out, right? Then you can see, obviously you can just watch the tapes back, and then your defense is able to read what you're going to do because you don't have a wide receiver. So
No.
who's obviously you're going to go to? Your tight end.
Yeah. And Travis Kelce's 31. You know, I mean, he's 31 years old. He's an elite, again, he's an elite player. This isn't a bashing
he's older
Travis.
than that. He's 36, is he not? No.
If I just had a total moment where I've looked at the wrong thing entirely. Yeah, I have.
He's
31
36 now,
receptions.
right?
31 receptions. I'm just an absolute idiot.
You're
Yeah, he's
fine.
26. There you go, Travis. I've knocked 5 years off you, mate. You're welcome. Point being, he's getting older. Time comes for us all. He is elite. Nobody can turn around with a straight face and say Travis Kelce is not one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game.
Ever.
Many people would say he's the greatest to ever play the game. But he's getting older and he has lost the step, and that's just time. It comes for every player.
It's also okay. Like,
yeah, of course it is.
It's nothing to like scream and cry about. It's exactly what it should be. And like, it's even then, like, I think you can sort of see like he knows it. Like, it's why, you know, he's looking at doing a bunch of other things. It's why he's got all these like, that's going to just turn into a rant about Travis Kelce, right? But he's got all the like the partnerships lined up. He's like doing all the things. He's promoting all the right things. He's got his podcast. He's setting himself up.
I'm sure those are the things that will give Travis Kelce financial security as he ages,
I know, right?
And definitely not the billionaire that he,
Listen,
you know.
They're signing a prenup, so literally,
of course.
I would too.
Taylor Swift. From Taylor Swift, I'm prenupping him at 11 hell. Which is one of the rare moments of the professional sportsman is not the breadwinner in this relationship. Taylor's got to look out for herself.
Good for you, sister.
She's got to look out for got to look out for number one. But anyway, moving on. I'm not letting you get started on Taylor Swift.
No.
We'll be here all day. But yeah, at the end of the day, we are now seeing Kansas City have weapons, plural, because they've got Rashee Rice. Brashard Smith was looking good, catching passes out of the backfield. Juju actually looks vaguely functional, which, we've seen that coming. Tyquan Thornton has been looking kind of up and down, but he's looking quite promising. Xavier Worthy's still there, blah, 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 blah. They have options now. And we've seen Patrick Mahomes do it with options that were basically a bag of beans. He now has options with talent.
Yes.
So, are KC back? Oh, I really hate it, but yes.
Yeah,
they are. I can see them coming all the way back, taking the division and just going. And it makes me sad.
Doing their nice little playoff run. We'll see you at the AFC Championship game, the Invitational Arrowhead.
Don't.
We'll see what happens. But I guess as well, not every quarterback storyline gets a happy ending. And some come with massive price tags and even bigger questions. So let's talk about the three that everyone's talking about. With, between the three of them, we're talking about $131 million guaranteed in 2025. And that's Tua, Lawrence, and Kyler Murray.
Now, before we start, this is a safe space, Sarah.
This is a safe space.
It's a safe space. You can talk about how he who was promised to solve all of your problems does not look like he's going to solve all of your problems.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what? Okay, let's do Trevor last, because I actually think he's maybe slightly different.
I think out of the three of them,
I
think he's down the bottom of the list. I think Tua is number one, because even if you don't watch, if you do anything from this and if you didn't watch the Dolphins game, that's fine. You don't even have to watch the Dolphins highlights because there isn't any, right?
Let's see.
Just go watch Tua doing any press after any game, after any practice, after whatever. I cannot believe we are allowing this man to still play this sport. At this point, I actually think it's doing a disservice to him as a person.
I agree with that. Actually, at the end of the day, we're not going to recap or recount the whole story with all the injuries and concussions and all the rest of it. We all know the story and we all know what we're talking about. But at the end of the day, Fizz has significantly suffered from the injuries that he's had, and it's affecting his play. We are at a point now where he has not looked anywhere near the quarterback that he was before he took all of these injuries. And we're not at a point where you're saying, right, and yeah, we can sit and do the coaching carousel, and if Mike McDaniel sees the week out, I'll be absolutely stunned. But we're also seeing things where, did the Dolphins look and say, right, who's QB2? Do we put Quinn Ewers in all the time now? Do we sub these guys over? At the end of the day, you have got with Tua, and to be fair, it actually is the same with Kyler. We can kind of put both of these guys in the one bucket for me. But Kyler obviously doesn't have the same style of injury history that Tua has, but he's got a rich history of injuries. He is and always has been a smaller quarterback as well. We all seen the jokes when he was drafted and how he wouldn't see over his line and blah, blah, blah. They're just not doing it anymore. Even if we are totally heartless about it and we look at this purely from a production standpoint, they're just not there. They are not guys that you are turning around and saying, we are going to build our team around this quarterback. And as we talked about earlier with Mahomes, the elite quarterback can solve all of your ills. And yes, not everyone can have an elite quarterback. That's not what elite means. These guys are a million miles from it. These guys are we at a point now actually where we say they are not franchise quarterbacks? They are not the type of person that, and yeah, you've paid them now, so you need to suck that up. You know what I mean? Imagine overpaying a quarterback. I can't imagine what that would feel like as a franchise to do that with lots of guaranteed money. Thanks, Cleveland. But yeah, you have. They've been paid, sorry, yes. That was just me reliving the horror of Watson. They've been paid. You can't get away from the fact they're paid. They've got all the money guaranteed in the world now. For me, both of these teams need to look at moving on. The Dolphins, the Cardinals, pair of them, I just don't think it's there. They need to look at what they can potentially do in the draft next year. I think it's very likely we're going to be seeing both of them with a lot of draft capital to play with. And if I'm the owners, if I'm the GM, I am aggressively going out to get more draft picks because you need to get one of the quarterbacks who's coming out in this class because, yeah, who you have under center is not it. Which is where the good news, your beloved Jacksonville, are not quite the same. T-Laws, you take it for the fans' perspective because you've argued lots on Reddit about this already.
I have. Well, yeah. I think my difficulty is that I never ever sit and sing. I never ever think that Trevor Lawrence is the savior that has come down to rescue us. Because partly because I don't know if it is really, I don't really think it's his, I'm trying to think of what I'm actually trying to say here. It's really, really difficult. Like, I think he's good, and I think he can prove that he's good. Like, you cannot throw some of those passes he was throwing without knowing that you're going to be able to throw them, right? Even when you look against the Seahawks. Like, you know, you're throwing for 258 yards against the Seahawks, who have a really, really good defense. Yep. They didn't just turn up and go, we'll just run about and try and cover everybody. They know what they're doing, right? And he didn't throw for any interceptions that game. And Trevor's been known to throw an interception because sometimes he gets...
Does like a pick.
He does like a pick. And sometimes he sees ghosts. And sometimes he thinks that everyone's coming to run for him. And he does his little spin run out and it doesn't work for him, right? But you cannot continue to excuse, number one, the penalties that are going on in Jacksonville, because it's not, and even if I disagree with what the refs are calling, right, you cannot cause that amount of penalties and still expect to win. It's not how the game works, right? And you cannot then excuse all the drop passes. So in the first couple of weeks, when we're talking about, you know, the quarterbacks and wide receivers having a connection, in the first couple of weeks, you can see that they don't really quite know how to catch the ball. Trevor's not necessarily hitting them correctly because there's the clip of Liam shouting at him saying, hit him in the chest and you'll catch the ball. And then when you're giving Brian Thomas Jr. the ball in the chest, he's not catching it for whatever reason. And I guess the question mark for me is maybe, is it a wide receiver problem? Is it a receiving problem? And that still needs worked on? Or is it Trevor's throwing passes that are behind or not quite sitting right? And I just don't know what the answer is. And again, I think we all need to take a step back as fans of Jacksonville, because we have an entire new coaching staff and a new GM. Everything around this team is new, right? And we didn't think going into it they had parts of talent that needed to be worked on for a year, and we would see how we'd go. And I mean, I'm sitting at 4-3, quite happy, because this is the hard part of our season. And if you had told me at the start of the year we would be 4-3 at the bye, I'd have been like, okay, I will be happy about that. And I suppose I still will be happy about it.
At the end of the day, you have got, and this is something I've actually just quickly checked this, so you've got a quarterback that's shown you in the past they can put a 1,000-yard season up. Done it twice. He's on pace to do it again.
Yeah.
He is current game pace.
He's 7th for yards right now?
It was somewhere like that. But he's sitting there, he's 7th for yards, tied 18th for touchdowns, tied 59th for interceptions, but that's a nonsense stat. The receivers for me are the problem in Jacksonville, not the quarterback. Some of the plays not be great. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, the guy's on pace for near enough 4,200 yards. So he's doing something right. But you've then got, as you say, you've got two elite, given the cost and the standard expected of them, elite wide receivers. You've got Brian Thomas. We've seen it last year. He is capable of elite production. This year he's had both hands in the left pack tub. Idea why you can't hold on to anything. I've just traded for him in fantasy. You better figure it out. I've got far too many shares of your offense, Sarah, for this.
I know, I'm sorry.
But doesn't need to figure out. Then you've got Travis Hunter. Now, Travis Hunter had a good game last night.
He had a great game, all things considering.
Yeah, breakout on offense game for him. And
they put him to cover Devontae Adams, which is not.
And he had a couple of really good breakups as well.
Mm-hmm. But Devontae Adams is a player that has years on him in this league.
Yeah.
And he's doing the job. He's got his first touchdown. It's a really, really good pass. It's a really good walkthrough. And people, I think it's difficult because as much as obviously you want him to be an elite player on both sides of the ball, is that realistic in a league like this?
No. Short answer is no. There is a reason it doesn't happen. If you look at high school football, if you look at college football, there are lots and lots of players that play multiple positions in multiple roles. It's one of the things, though, that's so special about the real league is that everyone, and this actually, even the players that we sit and we disparage and we have all of the terrible things to say about them, they are still elite at doing the thing that they're doing. You know what I mean? Even the worst quarterback in the league is still, you compare him to some guy in college, compare it to whatever else, he is elite compared to that. Because they're specialists. Yeah. They have one job that they spend their entire sporting lives perfecting. Yeah, I get it. I understand the hype. It was really something special. Oh my God, he's going to play both ways. And yeah, he's shown he can play both positions. In this league, can you expect top level, elite level production at both positions? No. What's one of the things that we say about teams every year? I say this about the Browns defense all the time. Why do they stop producing? Because they're on the field so much. The offense is anemic, so the guys get tired. How can you turn around to Travis Hunter and say, right, you're going to play all the snaps? He's just going to get gassed. And yes, I know he's a rookie and he's young and he's full of vim and vinegar. But no, this is an elite game. You cannot be playing and you are a little bit tired because you're going to get found out by some of the people you're playing up against. The one last bit on this, though, and I couldn't help myself, as soon as I realised we were going to talk about him, we absolutely won that trade, by the way.
You did win that trade, which is bonkers. Which is bonkers to me because he hasn't done anything in a year. So anyway. Fine. I will let it go. So I guess that sort of wraps up our review for the past week. And if we had to pick one game that we would suggest that the people out there watch next week, which, by the way, is the best week for us as UK-based fans because our clocks go back and the US clocks don't go back yet. So the games start at 5, which is great.
Glorious.
Because I might actually get to watch some of the late games all the way through because I might not be bored by the end of them. But yes, Brian, give me your pick of the week. So my pick of the week is going to be Cowboys Broncos. Are we seeing the Cowboys actually figure this out? We've seen we all know how high I am on the Broncos. We don't need to talk anymore about Denver. I think they're going to show up. We have seen that Dak has been able to put points up regardless. They now have Lamb back, who looked electric this week. The Broncos defense is a thing. It's legit. Are the Cowboys going to be able to put the points up? Are the Broncos going to be able to keep pace with them? Because if we do see the Cowboys actually get a bit of speed and put some points on the board, like I've said earlier on in the show, we have seen 15 minutes of Broncos offense this year. Are we going to see more? Because if you can't stop that Cowboys offense, you are going to need to. So for me, that's going to be my big one. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I think at the end of that, we are going to have a much better understanding of who those two teams are.
Are they teams? Cowboys fans, yes, we them boys. And we know that you think you're going to win a Super Bowl every single year. This is the kind of thing where, are you a team that actually really has postseason aspirations? Because the Broncos are the kind of team you're going to need to beat to demonstrate them. And Broncos, you guys have been saying it all year. You look at our record, we are the thing, we are legit. You're going to need to show that you can keep up with proper offenses to actually really demonstrate it.
Wow. That was very impressive. And now I'm just going to just say my game to watch is the Texans and 49ers, mostly because I'm interested, because the Texans will either be 2-4 or they will be 3-3. And I am interested to see if the Texans win tonight, are they back? Are they doing the thing? And then I'm interested to see what the 49ers continue to do, because obviously there's all the weird injury juju
Who
going on.
they sacrifice next to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy.
Well, exactly, right? Because that's
He's
always
consuming
it.
souls.
You just watch the highlights, and the entire offense was Christian McCaffrey. Nobody else did anything, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting for me because currently the Texans are still favourite. Again, this is pending Monday Night Football, so that might all change depending on what happens tonight against the Seahawks. But I think that'll be interesting. I probably lean towards the 49ers. I don't think this will be a blowout game, but I think if they can continue to manage the game as they have, I know the Texans can be pretty good at stopping the run game, though. I guess this is when I guess the other problem is did George Kittle come back a week too early against them yesterday? So I mean, I'm leaning 49ers, but we will see. And I never say that. As somebody who's not a 49ers fan. It's out there now. But I guess that summarizes week 7 of the NFL. I can't believe we're plugging on through.
Don't say it. Don't will the season away.
Don't will the season away. But yes, it's been a very impressive week, a very interesting week for some people, and not so interesting for others. But as always, please make sure to follow us on our Instagram and our TikTok for our latest content outside of the NFL. We do also post lots of NFL content. And please make sure you subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube, or you can find us across pretty much any podcast platform that's out there. And until next time, we will see you again.